everyone. I hope you're doing really well. Welcome to my first vlog of the year. It's 2025. I hope you've had a great start to the year so far. We're already a couple of weeks into January, and I feel like this has been the first week where I am finally starting to feel like everyday life and regular schedules are falling back into place. I really enjoy a slow start to January, but I also think that I've been missing some of the excitement from December. I'm missing the family gatherings, seeing some friends. I'm also missing watching all of the fun vlogmases that were part of my everyday routine. And so as much as I've been enjoying a really quiet January, I feel like I've also been a little bit restless. But I'm finally getting back on track this week. I've been reading more. I've been just starting to pick up my knitting again because I kind of took a break from that. I've been playing around in my journals and planners nonstop and loving them. I feel like I am really enjoying how I'm using all of my journals at the moment. I've been tidying up my studio, making some plans for this year for my shop, and just enjoying the whole process. I've been doing everything I can to avoid watching videos or any kind of social media posts about hard resets for the new year. I'm not interested in making huge lists to change things or making massive goals. I am much more interested in slowing down and just enjoying more of what I enjoy. I've also been reading a little bit about the compound effect, which is a great reminder that really small changes are what usually add up to the bigger changes. So it's a really nice reminder that you don't have to change everything about your entire life in January. Sometimes it's just about slowing down and enjoying the season. And I also read somewhere where January is not really the time for that. Spring is kind of the time for new beginnings and making some change. Right now, I am just embracing the coziness of winter, which is kind of the perfect season for people like us. If you enjoy knitting, crocheting, embroidery, weaving, reading, cooking, any of those things take place in the home most of the time. So it's the perfect season for us to embrace all of the things that we love, and that is what I've been trying to do. And I just changed the little board on my piano to say little by little because it's a reminder about those small changes adding up to more. It's also a line in one of my favorite poems. And I just really like that reminder. So I have a lot that I've been waiting to share with you as I got myself ready to film my first video of the year. I've been reading, so I wanted to share a little book update with you. I started to take a little online course that I'm really enjoying, and I've got knitting to talk about. I've got a knit along that I want to plan, and something very exciting arrived. I think it came the week after Christmas, maybe New Year's, I'm not too sure. But my Chelsea Yarns Advent arrived after being stuck who knows where with the postal strike. Everything got back to normal in the new year, and shortly after all of the services resumed, it showed up in perfect condition. I was so excited, and I've been really good. I have not opened up all of the days of the Advent. I did have a little peek at what was inside this really beautiful pouch. And I've been saving it because I thought, why not include it in my first video of the year? I'm going to open every single envelope up, spread them all out, and dream about what I could make with this. So I've also got some favorite things I might share. I have a huge list that I made somewhere about all of the things that I wanted to share with you today. So if you're interested in catching up with me, then stick around. Before I set up my camera and open up my advent calendar, I wanted to share a couple of things that have had me so preoccupied lately. The first one is my Kindle. I have been attached at the hip to my Kindle since Christmas. I've been enjoying reading so very much. It's just the perfect winter activity for me. And I didn't really get to read as much as I normally do in December because the days were so full, but I've been making up for it and really enjoying reading again. On Monday, the third book from the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros was released, Onyx Storm. The first one was Fourth Wing. I can't remember what the second one was, but I really enjoyed the first two books, so I was extremely excited to get started with Onyx Storm this week. And my friend Ashley sent me a couple of videos to watch to kind of prepare me, remind me of all of the characters and what happened in the first two because I had completely forgotten a lot of it. And I found them so helpful. I started to read Monday night, I think. I'm on page 96, chapter 7, I think is where I'm at. And I feel so lost. I feel like a lot is happening, but at the same time, nothing is happening. I'm not really feeling connected with any of the characters and I'm kind of disappointed. I'm going to push through a little bit longer, but I'm seriously considering not finishing this book or putting it aside and finishing it at a later date. A mistake, a huge mistake that I made yesterday was while I was scrolling on TikTok, there were a lot of videos about this book. And I always go to the comments because they usually make me laugh. And I found so many other people are also kind of lost. And as I was scrolling through comments, I read a huge spoiler. I know the ending of this book and it was my own fault for kind of continuing because I knew it was coming, but I got sucked in and I am so disappointed that I know the ending and it's making me rethink this book altogether. I don't know. And I just found out that the next book is not coming out until I think 2 years from now, which is kind of crazy. So I'm not loving that experience at the moment, but something I am really enjoying is an online class that I'm taking by Helen Stewart from Curious Handmade. It's called Your Creative Ritual. I think it started the first week of January, but I am just on the second class or lesson right now. I've been kind of slow to get started, but I've always been fascinated with rituals around creativity. Whenever I get to talk to another knitter or journaler, I really like to know when they spend their time on their craft, how much time they spend, how they work it into their daily life. And I think part of that is because I'm always jumping around between 10 million different things, usually with excitement. It's not really stress-induced. It's just, I'm like a kid in a candy store and I want to do so many different things at any given moment that I end up doing nothing. And so I thought this class would be really interesting. And so far, I am loving it. I love the topics that she is touching on. I love that she's approaching this as a just start small and spend 15 minutes a day on any given craft or activity that you want to. And it kind of fits in nicely with this little by little quote that I keep reminding myself of, because really creative habits are built on small habits, and I've just been really enjoying this course so far. So if you are interested in it, it's from A Curious Handmade. I found it on her website. It's Helen Stewart. I've always loved listening to her and her podcast, and it's just been a really nice way to start the new year without making massive changes. So I wanted to mention it because I know a lot of other people, whenever I talk to knitters, I feel like they can often be interested in the ritual aspect around our knitting or crafting and making. And so my one little word of the year is also make, and this falls in really nicely with it. So I'm trying to get into a practice of just listening to more podcasts, slowing everything down, and making slower progress in some of my projects. So those are two things that I've been really enjoying, not so much the book itself, but my Kindle and that class. Now I am going to grab my advent calendar, try to set up this camera so that I can open every day with you and set it out on my dining room table finally. I do not have words for the feelings that this Advent is giving me. Christina is the expert in packaging and just including all of the most beautiful little extras and keeping it within a theme. Her theme for this Advent calendar is Chelsea on the Ranch, a Western holiday. She's got her whole inspiration board on this beautiful card, which I will put in a journal. There was a beautiful recipe card in here, which I'm going to pop into my recipe box. A rodeo candle. This gorgeous pouch. I love it, with this beautiful zipper pull on it that she also dyed herself. All kinds of treats and goodies. I already had one, I think, when it arrived, and I tried to be good and save everything. There is a full skein in here called Rodeo and a rose gold mohair. Stunning. But the Advent, oh my goodness. I was going to open up each and every little envelope on camera, but I thought it might take too long. So I opened them all up and lined them up in order, and I'm going to tell you the color of each one, because there's also this beautiful card with all of the colors on it. So the first one is First Snow, Second one is Saddle Up. Third is Lasso. Fourth is Farmhouse Baking. Then Scenic Sunset. 6 is Desert Mountains. 7 is Eggs from the Coop. 8 is Holiday Cookies. 9 is Giddy Up. 10 is Howdy Partner. 11 is Born to Ride. 12 is Western Skies. 13 is Cowboy Boots. 14 is Campfire. 15 is At the Rodeo. And I think I am in here now. And I just wanted to point out how gorgeous is this transition. I don't know. I just think it would be so beautiful to use these all in one pattern and see how those work together, because I just love the orange into like minty turquoise. 16 is Roundup. 17 is Decorate the Barn. 18 is Cattle Drive. 19 is Cowboy Coffee. 20 is Dusty Trail. 21 is Snowdrift. 22 is Trim the Tree. 23 is Cracklin' Fire. 24 is Wrapped Presents. And 25 is Christmas at the Ranch. Stunning. And I was watching the Sprinkled Fibers podcast the other day. It's their latest one, so I think it was just put out earlier this week or maybe on the weekend. And I noticed that Marcy had knit up the Frostina poncho, which was the free pattern designed by Vanessa from Van Ray Knits, and it's included in the advent calendar. I know it's also available on Ravelry. There's a code in here for me to access the pattern online. It is a gorgeous poncho, and I loved the way Marcy's looked using this advent. It's so much different than when I saw it on other people's vlogmases or in photos on Instagram. It just, I don't know why, it seems so much brighter and more exciting in person. I feel like there's a lot of variation with like these brighter oranges and then the deeper turquoise and the chocolate brown. It's stunning. So I think I'm going to take a picture of this so that I can remember the order, because that's always my dilemma, is how do I remember the order? I'll take a photo and pop them in a bag, and I think a little bit later this spring I might try to make the Frostina poncho by Van Ray Knits. I think that would be a really nice pattern that kind of goes with the vibe of the advent itself, the Chelsea on the Ranch. I mean, who doesn't want a gorgeous, colorful poncho with tassels on the ranch? So I don't live near a ranch, I live by the lake, but I love it. So I wanted to share it with you. I was sad that it didn't arrive in December, but it was such a treat to get after Christmas. I feel like I am spreading the holiday joy by just opening this now. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's talk about a couple of my current favorite things. First, this wall in my bedroom. I finally got around to painting the accent wall that I've been dreaming about for 1, maybe 2 years now. I don't know what took me so long, but I'm obsessed with this color. I went to pick up paint right after Christmas, and as soon as the new year arrived, I just spent a few hours and painted it, and I think it is perfect. It is such a mood. It's the perfect shade to go with my bedroom furniture, which was one of the dilemmas because it was really difficult to just pick the right color. It is Sherwin-Williams Rookwood Blue Green, I believe, and I still have the rest of the room to paint, but I really just wanted to get that wall done, and I'm so happy that I did, because when I retreat to this room at night with my book in my cozy pajamas, it just makes me so happy. And a couple of the other favorites that I am just grabbing all the time at the moment are kind of simple ones. I am so dry, and I've been using this Vaseline All Over Body Balm jelly stick on my lips, on my hands, on my cuticles, whatever I need it on. I love it. It's just like a big, massive chapstick. I've also been consistently using this Essie on a Roll apricot cuticle oil. It smells so good, and my hands are extremely dry at the moment. My nails have been peeling. My cuticles are terrible. So I've just been trying to do a really simple manicure, and I try to apply this once or twice a day at least. And I've also been simplifying my manicure. Nothing has been staying on my nails lately, so I've been going back to an old favorite, which is this Dior Nail Glow. I have it on my nails right now. It's just a little bit nicer than having nothing on your nails. There's a little bit of a pink tinge to it. It just makes me feel a little more polished and put together, and I love it. It's also lasted me a really long time. I don't use it constantly, but I think it was a product that was worth the money. But basically, I've been trying to keep a lot of my skincare and body care routines extremely simple. I've been using a lot of drugstore products, but these are 3 of my current favorites. Let's have a little knitting chit chat. I was working on some socks just after Christmas, but then I took a bit of a break. I feel like I went into hibernation mode. I watched a lot of shows, some movies, I read a lot, and I really spent most of my creative time setting up my journals and planners for the year. But earlier this week, I've been itching to pick up my needles again, and I've pulled out 3 whips that I am currently focusing on. So the first one is a little update on my Cozy Knitter Advent socks. I had been knitting a stripe a day on both socks all throughout December. I really enjoyed this project again. I did manage to finish the first sock, and I think it is beautiful. I'm really, really happy with the colors and the stripes. I like them every year, but this is a really fun one. And I remember feeling like it was going in a certain direction up at the top. It felt very like jewel toned and deep. And I was really pleasantly surprised by this kind of fresh pop of color here. I love the greens and yellows, and then the cream, and then going back into some deeper jewel tones again. So I really love this project. And I did catch up on my second one, and I'm about to put the heel flap in. So this is always the phase where I kind of slow down. It's not my favorite to do the heel flap. I don't mind the heel turn and the gusset, but there's something about the heel flap that just slows me down. But it is here, and I am going to be picking up and trying to finish this one off. I think it would just be nice to have a basic vanilla sock on hand so that whenever I want to do a little bit of mindless knitting, I will have that. I did set up another sock project in this beautiful bag that I got at Cake Palooza from Tanny Casey. I'm obsessed with this bag. I think it's so pretty. It has a clear, well, it's not perfectly clear, but it's clear with glitter front, and then this very pretty floral print with a gingham. I love this bag. So I have set up another sock project. I was working on my Advent socks right after Christmas, and I just got the itch to work on these. The yarn is from Botanical Yarns. It's also a sock kit that I picked up while I was at Cape Palooza, and I'm having so much fun working on this. It's just the beginnings of the first sock, but I've done the cuff, the leg, which I'm making quite a bit shorter than a lot of my other socks, and I've just started a contrast heel flap as well. So this is the main yarn from the sock kit, which has a neon nep in it, and it's so much fun. And it also came with these contrast minis, which is what I am using for the heels, toes, and cuffs. So I'm going to be using this gold color on the cuffs and the toe, and then this beautiful like plummy wine color for my heel flap. It did also come with this mini as well. It's a really pretty set. I just have this bag set up so beautifully. I've got a little tin in here that has a couple of notions and these tiny little scissors, which are so handy. Stitch markers. I've got this Campfire S'mores hand balm from Tuft Woolens, which is perfect for dry skin. I love that. I also have a Tuft Woolens lip balm in there. These are all little bits and pieces that I picked up when I was at Cape Palooza. And this little progress keeper also came with this beautiful set from Botanical Yarns. It's called the Hellebore Orientals Neon Nep Sock Set. I'm having so much fun with this. I was kind of on a roll knitting both of these socks, but then I just took a break. So they are coming out of the woodwork. I'm going to be, I think I'll put one on the main floor and one upstairs so that whenever I feel like knitting, I can just pull one out and do a couple of rows, because little by little is all it will take. Then I have just picked up another whip yesterday and made a little bit of progress, which has me very excited to continue. It's a project I think I started also during December. It is my Mega Stripe sweater. The pattern is by Camilla Adamson, who is the dyer behind Cami Jo Knits. So I also have her yarn, and I've made a bit of progress on it. Very excited. It knits up so quickly, and it's a lot of fun. So I started out by knitting this front piece. You can see the shoulders and the neck are here. Then you put it on some waist yarn. You pick up at the shoulders and you start the back. So I've been working on the back piece, and it's going so quickly. So that has really inspired me to keep going. I feel like this could be a really fun, quick project for this time of year, and I will be able to wear it this winter. It's been so cold. I think this would be so nice to wear at the moment. This is the yarn that I'm using. I think it is called, do I have a little, I don't think I have the bands in here, but let's see. It is yarn by Cami Jo Knits. It is the Mega Stripe sweater, and I am using let's see, her Mega Mohair. I'm pretty sure that this is natural. And I can't remember what this is. If I remember, I will put it up on the screen. But it's the golden, like mustardy color. It's so pretty. I just think it's a really classic combination that I will enjoy wearing. So I've got all of that in this beautiful basket from Big Blue MoMA. Looking for the tag, there it is. And I'm really enjoying it. So after a little bit of a knitting hiatus, I am picking up projects again. I am also dreaming about a new cast on, which is an Advent shrug. I spoke about this during Vlogmas. I had a lot of people commenting and a few have sent me messages. Really excited to join along, and I've had a bit of a slow start to my January, but I am definitely getting myself ready to cast on. I'm going to gather a few things and share a little bit more about this project and the knit along that I want to do for it. During Vlogmas, I mentioned I wanted to make an Advent shrug for myself this January. I've been thinking about it quite a bit. I've been collecting some inspiration and some minis, and I'm really excited to get it started. I love the shrug patterns that Jackie Rose has designed over the years. She started out with a couple that were free patterns, and in the past year, she released a collection called Shrug Season that has a whole bunch of, I call them recipes for different versions, different fades, different stripe configurations using different weights or yarn combinations to make different weights. And I really love this kind of project. I made my first one. I can't remember if this is the Friday shrug, but I made my first one with Lamb and Kid wool. And I'm in love with this. It was such a fun project to knit. I feel like it's the perfect combination of playing with color and design for your stripe, but it's a simple knit that you can do anywhere, anytime. Very little to think about while you knit, and then in the end you get this beautiful accessory that I think adds a lot to an outfit. I brought this to Ireland with me, and it was just the perfect thing to throw on if we were going on an excursion and it was a little bit chilly. I love it. So this was my first one that I made. And before I went to Ireland, I really wanted to just totally freestyle a version with some colors that I had in mind. So this is the one that I gathered all of the yarn for before my trip. I brought it with me. It's what I knit on in the airport, on the plane, in the hotel room. Everywhere I went, I worked on this, and it just has so many nice memories attached to it. And I really just liked playing around with the different sizes of stripes, the different colors of yarn. It was a lot of fun. And I feel like after being in a bit of a slump, this was the most perfect kind of project with me. It's just anything you want it to be. If you wanted it to have symmetrical stripes and even stripes, you could do that. If you want to stick to like a stripe pattern, you could do that. But with this, I just enjoyed the process. When Jackie came out with the Shrug Season collection, she also sent me a shrug that she made, which is such a special gift that means so much to me. I think it arrived around my 50th birthday as well, and as a knitter, I'm sure you understand when someone makes you something, it is so special, so beautiful. I absolutely adore it. This, I believe, is the Shimmer Shrug from this collection of patterns. Let's see. Yeah, it's the shimmer shrug. And during the holidays, I was looking at some of my advent calendars, which I am so lucky to do swaps with friends that happen to be hand dyers, or I've had some just gifted to me in years past. I feel very, very fortunate to have so many beautiful minis in my stash, but I'm not a blanket knitter. I don't knit a ton of projects that require a lot of minis. I love incorporating them into socks or in other little projects, but I thought that an Advent shrug would be the perfect way to kind of celebrate the friendships I have in this community and all of the beautiful Advents that I have received over the years, and put them into one shrug. Jackie was knitting an Advent shrug throughout December, and my mind was absolutely blown at how stunning her shrug was. I'm going to be popping up some pictures of hers as I chat, because she would post a story or a reel or a photo on Instagram, and I would be screenshotting and just thinking about the possibilities of one that I could do for myself. So her Advent shrug, which is a part of this Shrug Season collection of patterns, is what I am going to be using to start a brand new shrug. I'll be using fingering weight minis that I've collected. And in the last week or two, I've been really thinking about how I want this one to look. And I do want the stripes to be consistently the same in size, very much like her Advent shrug in the pattern. But I really want to have fun with color. So I pulled out a basket and I started to shop my stash of all the different Advent minis that I've collected, and other minis as well. I pulled out the needles that I will need, and I started to create this basket. And if I'm missing something from here, I can dig a little deeper into my stash, but this is going to be the basket that I go to as I map out my Advent shrug. And I think the way that I'm going to be approaching my color choices is very much how Jackie did. She had some design inspiration from a book or a magazine. It was interior design, which I am also very inspired by. And she would, I think, take a section of the room or a little section of the photo of the room and pull from her collection of colors whatever she was feeling, whatever she was drawn to, and kind of melted each color into the next. And I think she also used her experiences with friends and a community at the same time. And so each time she chose a color, she was looking for where it was popping up in her life. And I think she did, she had a visit with a friend, and so some of the colors reminded her of her friend. They went out and bought something, and then she kind of pulled in the colors from what they bought. I just found it really exciting and interesting, and I know that's the kind of project that I'm really drawn to. So I have pulled out two of my favorite interior books. One of them is Living in Country Style by Brent Darby and Wink Colville. And I don't know exactly where I'm starting just yet, but I've been marking pages that really inspire me with color, different combinations. And for example, this one here feels very spring-like to me, so I think this might be where I end my shrug. I might actually choose some of my inspiration and colors seasonally. So some of the warmer colors for January right now, like a bit of a wintry kind of feel. I really want to use some red yarn, which is very unlike me. I'm not one to usually be drawn to red. but I must have red in this one. So I have pulled out some brighter colors to consider using, but I'm still kind of on the hunt for a red. And I feel like that might be in the center of my shrug. And then I might kind of turn the last part into greens and blues and spring inspired colors, as I'll probably be approaching March when this could be done. Who knows though? Not really sure. I am really in the preliminary stages of planning. I've marked a few pictures off in this book as well, which is called Life Unstyled by Emily Henson. This is one of my favorites actually, and I managed to get a duplicate of this book over the holidays. Glenn gifted it to me and he cannot return it. And so I thought it would be fun to include this book as part of a giveaway. If I'm doing a knit along, I think it would be really fun to somehow do this as a community. And if you are inclined to join along, I think it would be so much fun to share your inspiration, what kind of colors or what sort of stripes you might want to do. I also think this is a great project to do with a friend, and even sharing minis or sharing leftover yarns from projects. I've also been thinking about all of the yarns that I used for this, and I have quite a bit left over. So I'm thinking another prize, it might be really fun to curate some colors of yarns and send that out as a prize. I don't know. I've been thinking and brainstorming and having a lot of fun with this. I've also been chatting with Jackie, and we would really love to do like a live together, maybe on Instagram, sharing some possible ideas. And if you have an inspiration photo or something that's inspiring you, Jackie has, I think, probably every color of Pearl Soho linen quill yarn, which is what she used for her Advent shrug. And she is so talented with color play. And I believe she's offered to kind of pull together color stories for you as well. So I think this is a really fun way to celebrate our knitting community. Do a project together in any way that you like. It does not have to follow a strict set of rules or guidelines. I feel like it could be any version of stripe, any color, any weight as well. You can really play around with what you have, what's in your stash, maybe use up some beautiful minis that you've collected over the years. Maybe just share with a friend, because I feel like, I know that when I finish a project and I have leftover yarn, I don't always want to use it again. I feel like it's had its moment with me, but I don't want to waste it. And I think it would be so much fun to kind of trade with a friend and say, here are some of the most beautiful yarns like I love, and maybe someone else could have fun with these exact yarns that I have so much left over of, and make their own version, different stripe sizes, and it would be so unique to that person. So I'm really excited about this knit along. I think I'm going to call it the BTL Shrug Season KAL. So that's the hashtag I am going to start using on Instagram. Whenever I pull any information, any inspiration together, I'm going to use that hashtag. You can follow along on Instagram. You can also follow along on my Patreon. I know Patreon is a paid for platform, but you can sign up for free. And I will keep posts that relate to this knit along as public. So you don't have to pay for this content, but I think I'm going to keep it on Patreon because it just keeps everything kind of central for me. I'm considering maybe starting a thread in Ravelry, but I haven't used Ravelry in years other than just maybe the odd update here and there. So I'm trying to figure out where will be our central meeting space for this. I will try to keep you updated with information on when Jackie and I might do a live together. And I'll put that here on YouTube as well. I'll put like a little post just to let people know the time that we will be chatting. But I think it's going to be something really, really fun. And I'm not one for strict rules. So I think it will just be fun to find some inspiration or pull out your yarn, start pulling together some of the elements that you think you want to incorporate in your shrug. Join me, join Jackie if you like, or just follow along and see what everyone else is up to. I think it's going to be a really great way to knit something together during the winter months where we're all a little bit cooped up. And I'm really excited about using some of my beautiful yarn. I think it's going to be a celebration of this community for me. And in the end, I'm going to have a gorgeous accessory that I will enjoy wearing because I was thinking about my knitting from last year, and these were, especially this one, but these were items that I found the most enjoyment in knitting. So that is what has led me to this. And because I have all of this beautiful yarn, I really want to make it. And who knows, maybe I will post a little more regularly here on YouTube with some updates on the knit along, how I am pulling my colors together. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So the hashtag will be btlshrugseasonkal on Instagram, and I will try to keep you posted as more things come up. But start gathering your ideas, start gathering some yarn possibilities, and then watch out for some updates and a live with Jackie and myself. I think that covers all of my knitting. I don't have a lot of knitting plans other than that at the moment. I really want to finish my socks. I really want to finish my sweater, and I am going to be casting on for my Advent shrug probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm not in a big rush, but I feel like even February 1st, maybe February 1st will be kind of like the loose date that I will set to cast that project on. Other than that, I am very busy in my workroom at the moment, trying to get back into the swing of making bags again. I've had a couple of questions recently about the vintage library bags, and I do have a lot of this fabric left, and I've started cutting them out. So look out for vintage library bags to be back in the shop probably in February because it's getting close to the end of January. And I'm also working on these embroidery print bags at the moment. You can see it's not quite done, but I'm in love with this fabric. It is so pretty. They are embroidery hoops. And the zippers, I'm very excited about the zippers for this bag. They're going to be this kind of like acid yellow color, which I think is going to be so much fun. I'm also working on some new leather pieces in just a couple of colors at the moment. Black plum, tan or brown, and there was one other, jade. So at the moment, those are the three colors I'm working on for some tote bags and some, trying to remember, carry-all totes. And then I think after that, I'll work on a couple of other colors, so it just makes it a little bit more manageable. If there are leather colors that you are looking for, please let me know in the comments or send an email to me through my website so that I can put those colors next on the list. I think that wraps everything up for today. I am going to clean up. I've pulled out so much stuff and get on with my day, but I hope you guys will join me in this knit along, and I hope you're enjoying your knitting and a very slow but happy start to the new year, and I will see you soon.